Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk with local entrepreneurs, share motivation, network with one another, and pick up a tip or two on how not to burn your business to the ground. I'm your host, Spencer Ward. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. As always, we are sponsored by Health West, and they are great people, great organization. Give them a call, give them a Google, see where they're closest to you throughout Idaho, and trust them with your medical needs and even dental needs. Also sponsored by my company, New Clean Commercial Cleaning. All your janitorial solution needs from Twin Falls all the way to Rexburg. Give us a holler if we can help you and your organization, even if it's a multiple location situation. We got you covered. Guys and gals, today I've just been thinking a lot about building a company that runs without you as the owner. Okay. I know right now, many of you are like, well, that's just a pipe dream for me. Okay. But that's honestly what we're trying to do. Okay. We're trying to build an organization, a living organism, a motor that can run without you. You're not the main piston that has to keep the engine running. You can be the person that puts stuff in place that keeps the company running without you. So here's the telltale sign right now. Can you ask yourself this? And I had a coach that would literally make people leave for 2 weeks. But if you were to leave for 2 weeks, no phone calls, no jumping into Slack, no looking at emails, would your company survive without you? Or would everything just still be waiting for you when you got back? Okay, that's a big one. I remember one of my coaches, he made someone that was completely doubtful of this situation, and then obviously turned him into a believer after he implemented the changes our consultant asked him to implement. But he took a 2-week vacation. I think he went to Costa Rica with his whole family and just was hands off. He came back. A lot of things got handled without him. Then he realized there's a few things that he has to implement more so they can run continuously without him. So I would tell you, if you're someone who hasn't had a vacation and you're burning the midnight oil and you're burning the candle at both ends and you're stressed and your family doesn't like to be around you, your kids don't even know you, I would tell you, hey, you know what? It's time for you to go step away. Take 1 week, hopefully 2 weeks, and just go step away. You don't have to go somewhere like Costa Rica, but go somewhere. Give it a try. Give it a test. No phone calls, no text messages, no emails, no Slack channel, no checking in on that kind of stuff, and just see what your team does. Okay. And if you feel like there's absolutely no way you can make that happen right now, then this episode's for you. All right, so let's dig into it. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today is how SOPs are the foundation, but they're not the full answer. Okay, we've talked about SOPs in the past. We've talked a lot of this stuff in the past, but we're going to put it all together again for another episode because I think it's just so important. Today, guys, things are getting more expensive. They're not getting any easier to live, and we just need to make sure our companies are running hard without us constantly holding its hand. So let's talk about SOPs. Okay, we've talked about them in the past. SOPs document reoccurring tasks. Okay, anything that's reoccurring, and you should be doing it for yourself. What are you doing that could be outsourced to another employee, another assistant, whoever? But you need to document the tasks in each of your positions. If it's your office manager, and have them do it themselves. Okay, and as a side note here, you'll ask them to do it themselves to document everything they're doing. Initially, they may think, oh, is he trying to get rid of me or is she trying to get rid of me? Just reassure them. And we're going to talk about a reason to reassure them and how to reassure them later on in this episode. But help them understand, like, this is not because we're trying to get rid of you. This is literally just to help our systems get better. And I'll tell you more about that when we get going, because I don't want to stray too far from the SOPs points we're trying to make here. So, okay. So what you're doing is removing all the knowledge from your head. Okay. Every position needs documented systems. So SOPs create consistency. Culture creates judgment. Okay. Michael Gerber, one of my favorite books, is The E-Myth. He says, work on your business, not in your business. SOPs tell people what to do. Culture teaches them how to think when the SOPs doesn't have the answer. Okay. And let's get into that. I've talked about this over and over again, guys, in many past episodes, and I've hinted on some of these and how to kind of do it. And I know I've gone through it once before or maybe twice before, but let's go through it again. Discovering your core values. Okay. This is the person who helped me do this was a friend and my former coach, Mike Campion. You decide, you don't decide your values, you discover them. He always used to say that, like, hey, you just don't sit around a boardroom table and say, you know what, let's come up with the fanciest words we can think of to make it look good on our wall that sits there. No, it's not what you do. Okay. 4 things. Well, you start with this. It's super simple. So you start with 4 things that drive you crazy. Okay. I hate it when people are dishonest. I hate it when I'm lied to, or that's just the things that really drive you crazy and hate. Okay. And then what you do is take the opposite of that, and that becomes a value. So if you hate when someone's being dishonest or someone's lying to you or trying to cheat you, maybe one of your core values is, let's be honest. Okay. And after that, you take your 5 favorite employees. You look for your repeated values, like, hey, this person always shows up on time. This person, is so good to own their mistakes. They're always fun to work with. They're not Debbie Downers. They don't bring drama to the table every day. All that kind of stuff is huge. So write all those traits down of your 5 favorite employees. Okay. Look for those traits that are repeated traits throughout those employees. Like, oh, Cody is awesome to be around. Michelle is awesome to be around. Cool. They both have great work ethic as well. Cool. So, and between the two of them, maybe they also take great ownership. So when they make a mistake or even they do something well, they're willing to say, yeah, that was me. And then what you do is you get those values. We're trying not to do more than 5, trying to keep it between that 3 and 5 range when you're trying to put your core values together. And then use a verb plus a value. Because I see so many core values out there: consistency, integrity, all this stuff that people just put on their corporate boardrooms. I'm like, oh, cool. Awesome. Those are great words. Great synergy, but does that mean anything to you and your team? No. These are literally values that you're going to live by, breathe by. Every rule in your business. These are the rules of your business that you're making. Okay. So, for example, if one of the things that you hate is lying, like me, be honest. If you can't stand selfish people, maybe one of them is work together. These are my core values right now. Maybe one of them is, hey, I cannot stand people who bring drama to the workplace. Maybe one of them is protect the team. I like that one. It's not part of my core values, but I like it. Here's another one: is if you hate someone who has excuses always, then that one would turn into own problems. I like these guys, and this is how you quickly create your core values. And on top of all that, you can literally ask 3 to 5 people that are closest to you. You can ask your mom, of course you can. They can't all be aunts and uncles. And then just ask them, give me 3 to 5 words that describe me. And after you do all this, see if what you're putting together kind of congeals with the words that your people who know you the closest. See if they'll work together, or are they starting to resemble the same type of words and values. So those are huge, guys, as you're putting stuff together like this. So most people, and most companies will just invent values, like I just talked about, the synergy, integrity, all that kind of stuff. But you really have to discover your core values, because they're found in what you what you reward and what you refuse to tolerate. Okay. The things that drive you crazy, the people you absolutely love working with, will reveal the culture you're trying to build. And I totally agree. I love that. That's so important. Mike Campion is a great coach of mine, and he taught me everything. Um, so yeah, I would. That's what you got to do. Okay. So then you go into how core values become the rules. You have They're not just wall decorations. They're not just on your little corporate boardroom or behind your desk to make you look cool. No, they are the rules of the game. Okay. At New Clean, it's be honest, work together, make money, have fun. Okay. We promote them, we coach by them, we fire by them. So this really depends. This I'm honestly, guys, this tells us like who we want to even work for. We have fired customers before because they go against our core values. Okay. Believe it or not, there's people you come across that their internal core values are lie, cheat, and steal. And that's not the type of people you want to be around, unless you are the same type of person who lie, cheats, and steals. So maybe that would be a marriage made in heaven. When it comes down to that, guys, everything you do, who you hire, who you fire, who you do business with, it's just not worth doing business with people who are terrible to be around, who are drama cases, and make your life a living hell. So Patrick Lencioni said, if everything is important, then nothing is. Don't have 12 core values, have 3 to 5 that truly define your company. Then use them to make every important decision. Okay. Don't get crazy with it, guys. Like you said, don't have 12, 3 to 5 max. Okay. 4 right there on the sweet spot. Okay. So when we're hiring for values, we're hiring for character. We're training for skill. Ask story questions. We listen for patterns. People reveal themselves through stories. So the questions I was referring to are, hey, when is it okay to lie? Be silent. Let them answer. Tell me about a time where you helped a coworker. Again, let them explain, let them tell the story. And then last time you had fun at work. These are big telltale questions, guys. Or cater those to your values. You want to know who these people are. I like to ask the question, when was the last time you helped somebody and didn't get paid for it? I like that because it helps me understand, is this person have like a charitable heart? Not that I'm trying to take advantage of that person, because obviously I'm going to pay them for their efforts, but I want to know what's in them, what's within them. Are they the type of person that's going to be willing to help out and just be a good person? I always say I can train you to be good cleaners. I can't train you to be good people. And that's what you got to think when you're hiring people. And I know it's difficult, guys, when you're skilled labor forces out there and you're trying to hire plumbers, electricians, apprentices, foremen for your construction companies. And you need that skill, but you also got to have people that match your culture. Because if they don't match your culture, guys, it's going to make life, what? It's terrible. They might have the best ability to frame a house within them, but if they completely poison the rest of your team because of the toxic nature they bring to work, oh man, I talk about my divorce all day long. That ex-spouse of mine was terrible, because X, Y, and Z, and that's all they can talk about. That's all they can think about. That's all that's in them as a person. Man, you don't want something like that. That's just constantly going to bring the negativity to your team. You gotta be willing to hire and fire with those core values. Okay. So stop asking questions people can answer with yes or no. Stories reveal character. If someone naturally lives for your values, you'll hear it in their stories they tell you. I've heard it over and over again. I've had people sit, we own a janitorial company, New Clean. I've had people sit across from us and say, hey, they feel real confident. They're like, hey, I've got 13 years janitorial experience. This is a shoe in for me. I know everything there is to know about the business. Okay, cool. And as the interview goes on, I'll just, I'm not doing the interview anymore, but I would literally just think on not all of them, but some of them, like, there's no way I want to be, introducing you into my company. You are toxic. You are someone who's a know-it-all. You can't be taught. And I can already tell you're a drama person. You're someone who's not going to be completely honest with you too. So you'll see that as you ask those kind of questions. Now, let's talk about empowerment here. Okay. So stop asking every question. Ask, what do you think? Okay. So we can't answer everyone's questions. They're going to call you, and maybe they do right now. They're going to call you. Hey, what do you think about this? What should I do here? What do I do here? What nails should I use here? What screw should I use here? What gauge wire should I use? Instead of telling them, teeing everything up like an easy, hit out of the park for yourself, respond back. What do you think? What would you recommend? How would you handle it? Give them a chance to think on their own, because apparently you've created a culture where people just want to ask you. Here, let me call Papa Cody or Mommy Michelle. Obviously, I'm just picking names out of the hat here, and they'll solve all my problems, and they'll make it all right. You can do that, but what you've done is just created a job for yourself that happens to have some employees with it. You don't have a company. So, and what I'll tell you right now is that many of you are probably thinking, well, that sounds just dandy, but I have tried that in the past, and then someone will blow it. Someone will do something real dumb. Yeah, it happens. Even when you have things in place, guys, there's still going to be things that tick you off a little bit about uh, decisions they've made. But I've always told my team, if you can't get a hold of me, if you have something important that you need to discuss or take care of, just remember, make a decision based off our core values. Just if it doesn't go against our core values and it aligns with those values, make the decision. Maybe when we get back and we reevaluate that decision that was made, maybe there's a better way to do it in the future, but you'll never be in trouble if you make the decision based upon our core values. So we just had a job, for example, where there was a lot of labor overages. And obviously one of our core values is making money. Our clients were making money because we did the job they wanted them to do, and it was a good job. Our employees were making money, but then the employees didn't do the right job the way I wanted it done, or the way it should have been done. So we had to send them back and get it done the right way, based off of our internal inspections, because we wanted a certain way before our clients really even see it. It just wasn't right. So now I'm not making money, and making money as a core value has to go all around. Your clients need to make money because of what you're doing for them. Your employees need to make money because the efforts they're putting in. If they're good efforts and they're showing progress and they're making great improvements, and their performance validates them getting a raise, great, they make more money. And then in return, you make money because you're doing a quality work, quality job, you're with quality people you've hired, and you're able to make the margins you want. So that's how it works, guys. So you build leaders. You remove yourself as the bottleneck. Stop being that person that you want everyone to call. It's crazy, guys. And don't just make it your right-hand man or right-hand gal that person as well. If you're not getting the calls, but the next person over is getting all the calls, that still doesn't help it. Everyone has to know their role. And then, yeah, they're going to have questions for each other and help each other out here and there. And that's what a good team does in general. But make it so everyone is pulling their own weight and pushing the cart in front of them. So if every decision comes back to you, you've trained your employees to depend on you. Okay. Leadership isn't about having every answer. It's about teaching other people how to think. So let's move on to trust but verify. Okay. So we've talked about, all the culture, the SOPs, and that's all fine and dandy. But what happens when, and they'll help run the company. But what happens when you just leave them and you're not really tracking? That brings us to trust but verify. Okay. we have a weekly meeting, my admin team, and it's just a Google Meet call that we do for half an hour every week. And we have an agenda that we follow religiously because it covers our KPIs, our scoreboards, customer feedback, audits, accountability. It follows all that kind of stuff, but that's the stuff you need to be doing. If your company doesn't have a weekly call or something, a daily 5-minute huddle or whatever it is to reevaluate what's going on in your company and making sure margins are there, all that kind of stuff is getting done correctly, then you just set up a nice little structure of empowerment and core values, but you're not verifying that things are getting done. So Ronald Reagan always said, trust would verify. Great companies don't rely on hope. They build systems that let them trust because they can verify. Okay. Now, last but not least, okay, what I said in the beginning, when you're talking to your office managers or your foreman and saying, hey, I need you to spend some time over the next week to maybe 2 weeks and just write down all the things you're doing. Okay. When this happens, I do this. When I need more product or lumber or staples or whatever, this is what I do to get that done. Write it down. If that happens, then I do this. If this happens, I do this. And that goes through all the different points, all the different tasks they're assigned in their position. That way, at the end of the day, if they do get hit by a bus, it's very morbid to think about it, but that's how you have to think. If they get hit by a bus, you then have a SOP, a standard operating procedure that says, hey, this is exactly what the office manager does. This is how she or he manages all this kind of stuff. And then you can literally get that document and hand it over to the newest person that you just hired to fill that position, that vacancy, and say, hey, this is what Patrick or Cindy did as our office manager. This should really get you on the right track. And honestly, it should. They should be able to read that document and be like, wow, this is pretty legit here, because it should include even login information, passwords, all that kind of stuff. Protected, trusted. We use Google Docs and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to talk about in future episodes about cybersecurity for small businesses, because that's also important, because you don't want anything like that to go away. So remember, the bus test, guys. If you get hit bus tomorrow, what's going to happen with payroll? What's going to happen with the customers? What about the employees? What about your family? If you get hit by a bus, what about all your passwords? Where are they located at? All the relationships between customers, employees, your admin staff, even your family. Okay, don't be the single point of failure. So ask yourself, if I got hit by a bus and I'm gone, what happens? Will my company still be able to support my family? If not, you got some work to do. And I'm constantly tweaking at things myself, guys. I literally have a document of how to run the different companies I own, because maybe I'm terrified of having something like that happen and then leaving my wife with just a cobweb full of just nightmares to deal with as she's trying to mourn a husband. Well, maybe she'd be more happy. I don't know. Nah, just kidding. Anyways, that's what it really comes down to, guys, is be ready for the bus test. Being ready for you to leave, because you can't be there 365 days a year. Some of you probably have been. You've probably been there for years and you haven't taken your wife on a vacation, just the two of you, or your husband on vacation, just the two of you. Or maybe take a family trip, because we all know that's not vacations. That's just a family trip, because you need a vacation after you come home from the family trip. I love my kids, but my gosh, it's a chore to get them on a trip and back. So as I close, run these three tests. Okay, go on a vacation, see what happens. Okay, if you absolutely know right now, oh man, I'm so far from that. Okay, re-listen to this episode over and over again. Take notes. Make sure, hey, this is gonna, I can put this stuff into place. You can put this episode and this transcript into ChatGPT and say, hey, help me, guide me through this process so I can put all this stuff into place. Okay. The decision test. Is every decision in your company having to go through you? Maybe it's just you and your management. We need to spread that out a little bit more. Okay. Empower people to make those decisions and then have that weekly meeting to say, hey, Deborah, you made this decision. I see that you made it with our core values in mind, but it'd be better if we did it this way going forward. And then document it, how you started doing it, how you made those decisions. Okay. And then improve one SOP at a time, one leader at a time. Okay. Maybe after you get all your core values put together, you're like, oh crap, Patrick's got to go. That guy, he is every core value I have, he does not match up with any of them. So he's got to go, and then just one process at a time. So make sure that is getting done. I'm telling you guys, it takes a little bit of time, but I promise you this saves your sanity. Okay. So freedom isn't built in a weekend. It's built on systems, one leader, one core value, and one process at a time. When your people know the mission, understand the culture, and have the confidence to make decisions without you, you've stopped building a company that depends on you and started to build one that's built to last. So as always, guys, go out there, take action. As a side note, one more thing. I told our new staff manager, I said the other day when we were talking, I said, you can be as organized as you want to be. You can be as good as you think you can be. But if you don't ever take action and you just have everything documented and what you want to do and how you should do it, but you don't take action, it's not going to be, that's going to help you at all. I'd rather have someone who takes action, and even an imperfect action, than someone who's just paralyzed to take any action. So take action, make some of these changes this week, and make this month be your month that you really progress in this area. So as always, be happy, be grateful, and find opportunities to serve others. Adios, guys. That's it for today's Idaho Business Podcast. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you didn't, I've got a cheat code for you. Go to theidahobusinesspodcast.com, enter your email, and get my 20 golden rules for business. It's packed with my best advice, plus it's free. Subscribe, leave a review, share this with a friend. Until next time, keep hustling, keep laughing, and keep Idaho awesome.